Go hard. Go home.
We don't go down.
Go down.
We get up.
We get up.
We don't go down.
Go down.
We get up.
We get up.
We don't go down.
Go down.
We get up.
We get up.
I'm hitting harder than you. 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 I'm hitting harder than you.
Go hard. Or go home. Go hard. Or go home. Go hard. Or go home. Go hard. Or go home.
Go. We move hard.
We move hard.
We move forward.
We move forward.
We push. We move hard.
We move hard.
We move forward.
We move forward.
I'm hitting harder than you. 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 I'm hitting harder than you.
If you don't quit, you can't lose. If you don't quit, you can't lose. If you don't quit, you can't lose. You can't lose. You can't lose. If you don't quit, you can't lose. If you don't quit, you can't lose. If you don't quit, you can't lose. You can't lose. You can't lose.
You're almost there. You've been pushing and grinding and working, scratching and clawing, trying to get there. You're almost there. But the one thing that you cannot do, the one thing that you can't do, you cannot stop.
If you don't quit, you can't lose.
I had somebody tell me that they said, Philip, listen, I'm working my way and I'm getting there. I said, well, what's the problem? They said,
Edge life, you're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head, baby. Welcome to the edge life. You're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head. Welcome to the edge life.
What is going on, good people? It is the Edge Life 7 podcast. What's going on? My name is Philip Edge.
And I'm Carrie Edge.
Man, and we are delighted to see you tonight. And listen, I'm telling you, we got something super planned tonight.
Yes, I always love these.
We do something every now and again where we reach out to our friends, our family, and we bring them into your living room to make them your friends and your family. And tonight we are honored to have one of our friends come in as a special guest tonight, and we're gonna chop it up with the CEO of Unapologetic Urban Gear, Mr. Henry C. Murphy. Man, listen, this dude, Henry C. Murphy. You know, when you put the middle initial in there, that
I
little
don't keep my middle initial.
that mean you bad. That mean you bad.
I carry M Edge, and if it doesn't have an M and it's signed, then I didn't sign it.
That ain't you. Come on, somebody. That's what I'm talking about. So look, before we jump into this thing and get started, let me ask you, how you been doing with your fine self?
Well, I mean, I'm almost as good as you are good looking.
Girl, you better watch out. You better hold on. I got to get my rag. Yeah, let me get my rag.
No, it's a little hot in here.
You making me kind of hot.
No, it's been good. So this will be a busy week.
Yes.
So I got some medical tests coming up this week.
Yes.
I'm just glad to be here this week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe move forward with some answers and making some progress.
The good news.
Even though I already know,
You good?
I know Jehovah Rapha.
Come on, somebody.
So that's all I need to
Y'all
know.
better look at Google that one. Google that one. Google
I'll
that
leave
one.
that for y'all.
That's what I'm talking about. Google that. Google that.
How about you?
This week has been an amazing week again. Making some progress. Oh yeah, by the way, we do have your best you masterclass getting ready to get kicked off. Listen, and I've been saying this, and I'm gonna say it to you, right? If you want to be better, if you want to show yourself being the best version of yourself, you need to holler at us, and so we can talk to you about this masterclass. Literally, we're doing a behavioral assessment, we're doing a physical assessment, we're going deep, helping you understand purpose. Huh? Yeah, like PT. Yeah, like push-ups and sit-ups and everything. Like we're literally helping you go deep. I guarantee one thing, like when you get done with this masterclass, you will have clarity like you've never had before in your life. So if you are looking for clarity, if you're looking to be able to fulfill your purpose, if you're looking to go higher than where you are right now, look, you need to holler at us about this masterclass. If you can't tell, I am so geeked up and pumped up.
The first time that we ever did this, and we have way more components and things added to this, so there's so much more value added than initially. But every single person in there birthed the ministry or birthed the business, and they are still going strong. And so I get so excited about helping people birth business, birth purpose in their life, to be walking in what God called them to do, which is a perfect segue for what we got going on today.
Exactly, because today we are bringing on our friend. I've known this guy for a hot minute now, and I will say this. Henry C. Murphy has been a mentor. He's been a friend, like not just to me, but anybody he meets. The first time that I met him, literally, you can see that he literally wants to give to entrepreneurs and literally pour himself in to entrepreneurs. He has an amazing, amazing story tonight. We're going to be able to really unpack some of that story. So you all can hear about Henry C. Murphy and all the things he has going on, not only unapologetic, but he got some other little things we're going to try to pry out of him even on today.
Okay.
So without any further ado, I'm not gonna say nothing else. I literally want to bring in my friend, Mr. Henry C. Murphy. Y'all gonna give it up for him? Yeah. Into his house. He is in his house.
What's good?
What's going on, Henry, man? How you doing?
Man, everything is good, man. No complaints, bro. How about you guys?
Man, we are blessed, man.
Yeah, we're so thankful for you being here with us tonight. So you can, maybe share a little bit of the secret sauce, just a little bit.
Yeah, don't give it all away today. Don't give it all away.
Make people work, because if you work for something, you keep it longer, right?
That's right.
Make an investment in it.
That's right. Well, listen, a couple of things, Henry, before we jump into this thing, because we're definitely going to jump into this thing, because you have such an amazing story, literally going from building something from nothing to what it is today. And I will say this, I had an opportunity a couple weeks back to go visit Henry's brand new facility he calls the Compound. And y'all, like, I'm telling you, man, when you're an entrepreneur like us, and you're able to see vision come to pass, it does something to you. Like, you don't even have to say anything. You just walk in the presence and it does something to you. And this is one of those guys, man, who literally does that for me and so many others, man. So we're truly excited to have you here.
And Henry, I just had a nugget literally drop in my spirit from the Lord. And he said, from compost to the compound. Jesus.
Come on.
You got to put a little fertilizer on it, and then look what happened.
On.
Bam.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. We do have a couple people joining us today. I see our homeboy, Mr. Riley, is here from Mr. Riley's World.
Hey.
Mr. Riley's way out in California. This is our good friend. He's definitely on here. Mr. Keon Patterson's on here. We got several other people who have already joined in. But I will say this. If you are watching, make sure in the comment section you put where you're watching and viewing from right now. In addition, if you are watching this via the replay, just make sure you put #replay, because we want to be able to holler at you. You are people too, so let's make sure we do that. So let's shut up and stop talking. Let's talk to Mr. Henry C. Murphy.
Talk.
So Hen, let's start here real quick, man. Can you just give the people a quick background of who is Henry C. Murphy, man? Just give them a quick background of your story, and then we'll jump into the rest of this thing. Let's do that.
Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have several businesses that have been running for a while. I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2009 with Z180 Radio. And, we basically set up Z180 Radio to scale. So I was able to leave my job during that time, and we marketed for a plethora of artists in the CHH community. And during that time, we also added the Rep the King magazine, which we had like a full staff. We started the Rep the King magazine with $0. It was an amazing process. It was a lot of work. I had people like Olivia Shaw, Tyara Hayden, Dolly Carr. I mean, it was so many people that was involved in that process. The Mingle Guyton. It was crazy, man. And so we were able to put out an actual print magazine that we actually shipped out to people with subscriptions. You know what I mean? So it was amazing. A lot of work, bro. It was a lot of work.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
a
I'm
lot of
saying?
work.
Gave me a lot of respect for magazines and stuff like Jet,
Yeah.
who did it every week for so long. You know what I mean? And then during that process, 2013, we launched Unapologetic Urban Gear. And Unapologetic Urban Gear, to tell the truth, was on the back burner of those two things because
Wow.
it wasn't producing, fruit yet, really. You know what I mean? It was doing something. I knew it was good to have something with merch, and I love merch. You know what I'm saying? I always love t-shirts. I knew it was something good to do. But again, it was on the back burner. Um, I read this book called The One True Thing, or the One Thing. And that book made me realize, like, okay, if I'm going to focus on one thing at this point in my life, which one is it? And for me, it was the clothing because that's how I knew what I wanted to do in the future. And so, yeah, I kind of, sold to other companies and then focused on Unapologetic Urban Gear. Now, that wound up birthing new things along the way, but I kind of had got a grip of Unapologetic, lost a little grip, got it back. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can hand your baby
Yep.
off too early,
Right.
Wow.
and because
That's
it's
a
always
word right
growing,
there.
That's
and
a
it's
word.
yeah, man. And as it's growing, it's always going to be new complications and new things. And so I did that a couple of times, man. Like last year, I did the same thing. I handed it off, certain parts of it off a little too early,
Right.
and it messed a couple of things up. But you live and you learn.
That's right. Well, let's do this because I know some people are watching this. They may not be familiar with Unapologetic. So what we want to do, we want to give y'all just a little bit of a sample of what Unapologetic is and how Henry C. Murphy is doing the doggone thing. Y'all check this out.
We started the Unapologetic brand in 2013. We took a year off in obedience to God. The Unapologetic brand is simple. We don't apologize for being believers. We don't apologize for our faith in Jesus Christ. We don't hide the fact that we are Christians, and we don't shrink back. We love people from all walks of life. We realize that we are flawed and in desperate need of God, and that's the beautiful truth of the gospel. That's the heart of Unapologetic Gear. Live unapologetic.
Live
No apologies
unapologetic.
here.
That's
No
it.
apologies
That's it.
here.
That's it. I
That's
love this
awesome.
thing.
Love it.
So Henry, do me a favor, man. Can you kind of take us back, because you didn't always start off as this owner and CEO of Unapologetic. Before that, what did you do? How did you prep yourself? If you can kind of give people a little bit of your backstory, even before jumping into Unapologetic.
Oh man, I was a restaurant manager, and I hated it when I was doing it. I love people, so I love managing people. I just didn't really care for the actual working for somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's just because I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know how to go about it. And what I always say is, at one point in my life, I'm running this $1 million store for Checkers, and I'm making like $50,000, $60,000, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't add up. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing inventory. I'm ordering trucks. We're making like amazing scores, top scores in the company. Like when corporate come down and they do all these inspections, like we killing everything. And we just had this amazing team because like Checkers open 3, 4 in the morning, so you actually had 3 shifts, and we had an amazing team, like all 3 shifts, and we had training. We just we had a great store. So during that time, even though I hated it, I learned how to manage things. I learned how to manage people. The thing is, though, when you start in a company, you start out by yourself.
Right.
Most
Yeah.
of the time, you're managing nobody. You know what I'm
Managing
saying?
yourself. That's the hardest
So
person
you
to
managing
manage.
yourself.
Whew.
Yes, it is. Excuse me. And what I realized is, as I was kind of doing things and putting things together, I had to start timing myself. The reason why I started doing things like that is because I know if I'm going to put somebody in this position, then I got to know how much work they can do in a certain amount of time, right? So I can know their productivity. So basically, if I'm printing 40 shirts an hour, I can give somebody the benefit of the doubt if they're printing about 28 to 30, right? But if they're at 10 shirts an hour, that's a problem. They're not going to work out. You know what I mean? Because now the difference is you are building a system. When you go to work with somebody, you're going into a system that's already built. And so, you know, you had to start building these systems out. You know what I mean? And we're continually, even now, you know, find ourselves building these systems out. And, you know, for instance, Anna came on board with us, and she had all these great ideas that we actually already start implementing. And it's like, hey, we building new systems like this, just this quick. You know what I mean? And trying to understand it. You know what I'm saying? I had to hit my guy Alliston tonight and to say, hey, look, man, I'm gonna need some new some new sheets to understand this data, right? Because okay, if we're promoting the app, then I need to know how much money the app is making every day. Pay by text, how much money is that making a day? The people who come in store, how much money is that making a day, and how much is online? You feel what I'm saying? Because it's new. You know, you start adding these elements, then you need to see what money is coming to what, so you can know what money to put in. You know, and this is not to sound arrogant, Brad, but what I've been seeing a lot that I don't like is people who's been around for a year and a half doing like this merch thing, making themselves experts. I don't like it because it's not enough time. You haven't been through enough. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it's like marriage, right? You know, when you've been in there for a couple of years, you gotta watch how you be giving advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't lived long enough. You ain't been through enough. You know what I'm saying? And so, but anyway, you know, my point to all that is that, you know, the checkers helped me to build systems within my own business. And what's dope about it is that, you know, the people who work with us, they get a chance to see that. And so when they, you know, because we want, if you're a true entrepreneur and you come through what we do, if you come through the compound and you're working, then if you're a true entrepreneur, I want you to get that stuff and take it into your own, what you're going to do in your future. You feel what I'm saying? Because, you know, if I think some people will always be with us, I think some people will just passing through. You know, so just pour into the people who's passing through, you know.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. And we got a couple people here. Mr. Riley said, he said, Henry, I like the merch on your site. So you got somebody way out in LA checking you out, man. So that's what's up. Trey Johnson chiming in right now. He says he's right. He says you got to be in it for a while to be an expert. You know what I'm saying?
Just show up and be an expert.
That's right.
It's kind of like these fake rappers. You know, they were gangster. They were doing ghetto rap, but they ain't never lived in the ghetto. Huh?
That's a problem.
Yes.
Yeah. So you talk about systems and, you know, taking that from, you know, your work experience and that sort of thing. But obviously there is another foundation, an even greater one that you have built, Unapologetic. So talk to us, Henry, about your faith, where that comes in, and how that translates into you sharing the gospel.
Man, so what's crazy is, you know, I was a guy who kind of, you know, dabbled in the streets, you know, probably starting at 17. I was a little late, actually, to some of my counterparts who grew up in East Savannah with me. You know, they probably was a little later. And when I went in, though, I went in like full-fledged, you know what I mean? And so, you know, next thing I'm hustling, I'm just out there, right? And, you know, really no parts of church, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we was made to go to church when we were younger, but you know, when I got of age, I was running just like anybody else, you know, just getting away from it. And so I get led up to this time to where, man, it's this crazy thing start happening. You know, I'm finding myself around shootouts and things of that nature, like week after week after week, like literally week after week after week. Then I get into this one situation, and me and my son, the whole car gets shot up, and no bullet hit me or him. You know, I had this, you know, hit out on my life during the time. It was all these crazy things that led up to my salvation. So, you know, as we get into what we're going to talk about Unapologetic, how I landed there is, you know, I'm trying to like, all right, God, what can I call this thing? Right? Like, what can I call it? You know, because when I first came in, I was very timid, man. I came into, my wife was saved before I did, so I came into Kirk. I really did, and I, all I was listening to back then was like Jay-Z, 8 Ball, and MJG.
3-6
What I'm
Mafia.
saying? UGK, yeah, right, exactly. I'm listening
Yeah.
to all of that, and so I come into Kirk. Kirk had a couple of beats, but I'm like, I can't really relate to this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
it got me over until I actually got to like the truth, and so I used to do music in the streets, and then it transitioned to I did wind up doing music in Christian hip hop. Is how I met a lot of people, things of that nature. And so I was dabbling into the clothes, but it wasn't, nothing that I was like, all right, I'm really going to do this. And so anyway, came up with Unapologetic, man. And we settled on Unapologetic. And I was like, listen, this is being unapologetic about our faith, right? Because one thing my girl Larissa told me was like, look, if you do this, then you have to own it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, which means like what you put on there, we have like very bold statements. You know what I mean? I'm a guy who loves marketing. I spend a lot of money in marketing, and visuals and things of that nature. And the reason I do it is because I understand more than just one concept, right? It's not just the concept that you're putting out a shirt that speaks for God. Okay, that's cool.
Right.
But how are you going to put that in people's hands? And how do you speak to two different people at the same time? The people who are actually already in the faith, you know what I'm saying? Who wants clothes like this, and
That's
the people
good.
who are not in the faith. You know what I mean? And so even the people who buy Unapologetic who are not in the faith, those are people who I actually want to chop it up with.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because it gives me an opportunity to speak the gospel to them. You know what I'm saying? It gives me that opportunity to talk about God, to talk about things that I've been through and things of that nature. You know what I mean? And I think with Unapologetic, I've had a chance to actually talk about the gospel more than any other thing that I've ever done.
Wow.
Any other thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been amazing, man.
It's so interesting that you speak about that, being able to speak to people in the faith, right, who are believers, but also people who are outside of the faith. Yeah. One shirt that you have produced with Unapologetic that I love it. It's a shirt that says "Faith got me living risky."
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say that
that shirt right there, literally here. I think I went and bought like every color. Man, I got the red, I got the black, I got the white, I got right. I mean, like because that statement was so bold, and when I wear that shirt, I get compliments. People are looking at me. They just point at you. They're like, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Because again, you spoke about it. It gives this bold statement, and it's a statement that can speak to people in the faith. But it's also something that can speak to people outside of the faith, and I love that you do that. It's kind of like you're undercover a little bit with some of the things that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean the people that know, and the people that don't know want to know.
Right.
So I wanted to mention that shirt too, and just thank you as a believer for giving me an opportunity to share the gospel. So, many times, God shows us a door and we open it, but what we don't realize is that by us being obedient and walking in our call, that we give other people that same opportunity. So thank you for that, Henry.
Yes. What's crazy about that shirt? I wasn't going to release that shirt on Unapologetic. I was going to release it on the Inspire Apparel line because I was like, but I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to like jive with this shirt. Maybe for people who are entrepreneurs, they would get it quicker. And man, we just went ahead and be like, you know what? Let's just put it out. And then that shirt went crazy.
It went crazy, man.
It went crazy. Yeah, it's still one of the highest sellers. I mean, man, sometimes we would do conferences and we'll sell like 1,200 of those tees.
It's crazy.
Like it's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you mentioned going on concerts and things like that. Can you share with the people just what are some of the concerts you've been on? Because I know you've been on the road, Jack. What are some of the places? Who you been with?
Man, so my guy Nehemiah Weaver, man, he's a great friend of mine. Man, he's for Kingdom Promotions. So I went out on the road with him most of the time, man. I mean, we did. Let's see. We did like Trip Lee, Andy Mineo, KB. Who else we did? Social Club.
Wow.
I sponsored NF second album, his tour.
Wow.
So we did that tour. We did Brown, you know what I'm saying? Like we did, you know what I'm saying? But I've done so much with him, man. So I was able to do that before I actually even had this great online presence.
Yeah.
Like I was just traveling, and I was doing it nonstop. I think I did nonstop for about 4 years, like
Wow.
nonstop traveling. You know
Wow.
what I mean? And then so we went on, and then we're partnered with Jonathan McReynolds with a lot of things, and so I've been on pretty much 3, 4 tours with Jonathan.
Mm.
And we actually, man, I was looking forward to, and I still won't speak on what we was going to do last year, but man, we was going to be on the road for literally, I think, almost 65, 70 days.
Wow.
If COVID wouldn't have hit, it was going to be crazy. You know what I
Wow.
mean? But all things happen for a reason.
That's
you know
right.
That's
what I
right.
mean? So,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. So all that to say, you out there grinding, man. You out there working. You know what I mean? And I also wanted to bring that up, though, because I think a lot of people think, especially when you talk about entrepreneurs, you talk about, shirt brands and clothing brands, they don't think about those things. They don't think about the going on the tours. They don't think about being away from the family. They don't think about, getting in the truck and driving because you got all this merch that you got to tote. You know what I'm saying? They don't think about those things that are behind the scenes. What are some things that budding entrepreneurs, right, especially those people who might want to build a clothing line, right? Yeah. What are some things that they need to think through or think about that they probably don't even consider?
The things you don't know.
Oh my God, it's so much, bro. It's really so much. But one thing I always tell people: if you're starting a brand, you start out with one shirt. Right. Mm-hmm. And the reason you start out with one shirt because you need to know everything that comes with the business. And again, when I was speaking to these guys who's been experts, so what might have happened is they had this boom and they might have did $400,000, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was like, yeah, I'm an expert. I did $400,000. No, it just might have been the right timing or the right anything, but that is, you are an exception to the rule. You feel what I'm saying? Like you're not the rule. This is not how business is built and how things are happen. That just happens. And if you do not know how to even traject what you've just done, then you're going to be bankrupt. You feel what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to keep going. So the reason for the 1T is say, hey, look, get you, and this is what people don't understand. Like it doesn't have to be this dope, crazy design. It just has to be something meaningful, something that means something to you, and something that you could project that means something to other people, right? Everybody's looking for the dope design and the dope logo, and they miss it because it's not just about that. Listen, for real quick, right? I'm gonna veer off just for a second. Walmart had one of the ugliest logos I ever seen in my life.
The Spark.
Right?
I didn't even know what it was.
Sam's Club, the same thing, right? And it's $1 billion company.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? It's $1 billion company. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because Sam Walton put in the work.
That's
and
right.
He kept putting in the work. That's the reason why, not the logo. It's the reason why. And sometimes people concentrate so much on the wrong things and not the actual grind and making things happen, right? And learning from the grind. So again, you start with one shirt because now you don't understand what it's going to take to actually do ads and put it in front of people.
Right.
The cost of that in between when you're actually printing shirts, right? And you need to get more shirts or you're shipping or other costs that you are not thinking of that's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing I would tell people too is, look, get to the point to where if you can, you get a small spot and get out of your house. The reason being is you need a place to go. You need some type of risk involved. Without the risk, I'm not a fan of pre-orders. Me and Dolly was talking about this today. The reason why I'm not a fan, pre-orders is cool, right? In certain aspects. When you first just getting started and you want to do pre-orders, but the problem with I think the problem with it is when people keep doing pre-orders, they're not taking enough risk, right? They're not in it. They don't have no skin in the game. You gotta have skin in the game. Because if you have skin in the game, then you're gonna hustle. You're gonna grind. You know what I mean? And so anyway, you got listen. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I got rent to pay.
Jay-Z said everybody a boss till it's time to pay the rent.
Come on.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, you got to have skin in the game, and you got skin in the game. 9 times out of 10, you either gonna get it. You're not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna let this fail.
Right.
I'm gonna let this die. No, you're gonna be like, okay, you. Damon John said it like this. It's called the power of broke. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like your mind start to think in a different capacity, in a different way when you have the power of broke working for you. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
everything is always comfortable, oh man, it got to get uncomfortable. If it ain't uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't, trust it, that people would be around for a long time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
See, you
Wow.
were dropping all kind of
So many
gems. You were
gems.
dropping all kind
I'm
of
taking
gems.
notes.
Yeah, yeah. She just said get uncomfortable. She said you need to take risk. Just make it meaningful, man. And then
love that.
our homeboy Design by God. Shout out to Design by God. He's in the house also. He said
That's my
Faith got me
dude.
living risky is one of the best.
Best
Yeah,
shirts ever.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. So let me say this: you are dropping jewels and gems because that's part of the reason why we got you on the show because we knew you was gonna do that. But you also have started open. You got a little thing that you're doing where you're bringing people in and you're teaching them game and you're teaching them the business. Can you share a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, so a couple of things. Let me tell you even how this led up to that. I just felt like in 2018, hold on, no, sorry, in the 2019, in the 2019 was crazy. I think we got to a point to where you know we did pretty good money wise,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I was struggling because I was like, man, I should have more money in the bank. But I also, again, is why I speak to people about certain things. Is like, look, money has to go in all these different places. So sometimes you might get to the end of the year and it isn't money, but you're fully operable. You got people working for you. The building is good. Everything is paid, but you might not have no money on the books. You know what I'm saying? But you're operable. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? So I got to the end and I was feeling, because I've never been to that place. And I felt like I've never really had nobody to mentor me. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
To let me know it's like, hey, yeah, you might have made the most money you ever made in your life, but yeah, you get to a point, you just got to keep going. And
Right.
so anyway, I just keep going, and I feel like God is saying, hey, give away value. So I create the podcast, God Bless the Entrepreneur. And I put this podcast out, and I put out 1 and 2. It's crazy. Philip comes around by the time I'm on the second episode and tell me about this the Rodecaster Pro. And I'm like, I'm not buying that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not doing that. And I wind up buying it by the time I get to the 4th episode. And my dude Rob comes through, he does the panels for me, and like it's official, right? We rolling. And so yeah, we did the first season and we just gave away value. And so what's crazy is during this process, during COVID, we explode during COVID more than
Wow.
we ever had before. Right?
Wow.
I'm talking about like it was crazy. So October comes, we move into this new building, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole lot of obstacles. We don't even have enough time for that. And we move into this building,
Risk.
and then I had this thought last year called Innovators ATL. And what I wanted to do was, everybody who came, I was like, yeah, man, one day I'm gonna tear down this back. I'm gonna put 100 chairs back here, and we're gonna build a small stage, and we're gonna teach entrepreneurs. That was my vision
Yep.
for the other
Yep.
place. Right? I remember you.
Yep.
Did I ever tell you about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we get into this new building, and I put in this, like, made it like a conference room. And I'm driving home one day, and my heart heavy, and it's like I see this vision of adding the chairs to this room. It's
Right.
weird how God works with me sometimes. So next morning, I get there, I pull out all them conference tables, make them intern rooms like he originally showed me,
Right.
and made that the Innovator ATL room. And what's so crazy is I think at one point it wasn't no chairs in there. Then we added like 3 seats. Now it's 15, and
Come on.
I'm gonna add 5 more tomorrow. It's gonna be 20. And we put this affirmation wall up with innovator in the middle, and it has like God first, legacy, family, all of the things that make up an innovator.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do in that room is we're going to teach entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to do free classes for the most part. But if you want to get more specific to things, then we'll have teachers come in and actually teach specific things at that class, and we're going to make it affordable. And that building is the compound because it has so many layers to it, so many things to it.
It's awesome.
And I think it was so crazy. I'll never forget my dude Jay Harris. He's a pastor in Jacksonville. He comes in. So a couple of people came through at the beginning. It was Jay Harris, Bizzle, Willie Moore Jr. And Jay come through and he was like, "Yo, this is dope."
Yeah.
He's like, "Bro, I don't think it's big enough for you."
Come
And I
on.
was like, "Man, you crazy."
Yep. Yep.
No, I'm
I said
good.
this, I said the same thing. I said the same thing when
You
I looked
sure
in there,
did.
especially that innovators room. I was like, this
It
not
ain't
big
big
enough right
enough.
here. But go ahead.
It's not big enough, bro.
Mm-mm,
Bro,
mm-mm.
so I'm in there, and so D was teaching the Sweatshop University the other day, and these guys, when you come into the building now, it's like everything is in there. It
Mm-hmm.
look like it's just polished,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's why I'm very transparent. I told them dudes, I was like, yeah, but 3-4 months ago, I'm having anxiety attacks because everything is double. I
Right.
was like, from the old building, everything is double. I was comfortable in the old building. I had got to the point where I was paying stuff up 3-4 months ahead. I was good.
Right.
And I was like, now it's like, yo, okay, yeah, this, rent 4-5 stacks. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
Yeah.
that changes things. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I told him that, he was relieved because we always have this pressure of failing. But
Mm.
the one thing I can tell people is like, don't be afraid to fail, bro. You
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
can't be afraid to fail. If you look at the
That's so
course of your
good.
life anyway, you fail at so much stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We do.
it's
We
true.
just do. Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing with, I think it's like when it comes to marriage, it's these different things in marriage where for a season you might fail a lot until you
Right.
mature in that area,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the same thing with business. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to fail. You're going to drop the ball. The thing is, you just got to keep going. You know what I mean? So like, it's like a baby. A baby don't. When a baby first learn to walk, they don't stop. They keep going until they get it, and you be excited. You be like, "Oh, they got it!" You know what I'm saying? Until they start getting into stuff. But anyway,
They fall down a
that's the
lot
thing.
too.
They fall down a lot. Exactly my point. That's the whole thing. You're
Yeah.
gonna fall, but you can't be afraid to fail because if you never step out, you will never accomplish what you was
Mm.
meant to do.
That's it.
Ever. Too much potential in the grade, bro.
Come
It's
on.
too much potential in the grade.
Come
Mm.
on.
That's good.
Listen, I told y'all we are dropping nuggets tonight.
Yes.
Here we do want to transition because you mentioned God Bless the Entrepreneur, which is an amazing podcast that you are blessing the people with.
Yes.
Inside of the comments, we did go ahead and put the URL to the God Bless the Entrepreneur podcast. If you want to check it out, you can do that.
Check out that link.
But there are a lot of people who are still probably trying to figure out like what is that.
it?
So we want to give people just a little sample of what is God Bless the Entrepreneur, and we'll come back. Y'all check this out.
I started this podcast for everyone who inspires to be more. I'm talking about the go-getters, the creators, the dreamers, the visionaries, the innovators, the coffee drinkers, the joggers, the dog walkers. Everyone still at their job, and everyone who listens in their car. This podcast is for you. Entrepreneurs are the backbone of our society. So don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to dream big with determination and relentless commitment. Make sure you always respect the day and give it all you got with the grace that God has given you. From this day forward, this is the mantra. Make moves or make excuses. God bless the entrepreneur. Thanks for listening.
What?
Oh,
What?
on.
What? Well, listen. First and foremost, there are so many things that I saw and I heard just even inside the little promo right there,
Right.
that little video. You are speaking literally. You said to the dog walkers, to the coffee drinkers,
Guilty.
right? This is everybody, man, that you're speaking to, which is amazing. The second thing that I saw inside just that was just the level of detail in what you are putting together. You know, the thing, Henry, that I'm seeing that's really separating you from so many others, man, is it's the details. You know, I mean, I'm watching that video and I'm like, who does this? You know, who's putting this caliber and this level of things together except somebody who's a real professional at what they do. And because you're a real professional at what you do, you have so much that you can share with other people. So can you share it with us just a little bit? Like, tell us what's going on with God Bless the Entrepreneur. What sorts of things are you sharing with the people? Why should they tune into that podcast?
So what's crazy is I came up with this Inspire Imperil line where the original idea was just to go for entrepreneurs, right? And so I launched this thing, and this thing does nothing, right? And I'm like, okay, something missing. when God gets behind anything that I'm doing, it just goes crazy, right? And so I fall back on it, and I haven't really even told the story too much. And I falls back on it. Then KB releases the song Die Rich.
Mm-hmm.
And in that he says, God bless the entrepreneur. Pastor taught me how to steward. And bro, something hit me so hard when that
Wow.
happened. And I text KB. I said, bro, I really need to use this God bless the entrepreneur. I think it's the missing piece.
Wow.
And I think what it was is um this is the first time me saying this really out loud like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what it was is that God was wanting me not to not include him in this entrepreneurial thing,
That's good.
right? When it came to the Inspire Apparel. And so I was like, you know what? Now Inspire Apparel is going on the back burner of God Bless the Entrepreneur. So it's God Bless the Entrepreneur powered by Inspire Apparel, right? And so, and the Inspire Apparel probably not going to even launch officially, probably another year or two. I don't know what God says. So so for right now, we're just going to give away value in the podcast. We're going to give away value in a day in the life of an entrepreneur with Henry C. Murphy on YouTube, which we only on the second episode. And that was another thing, man, with the content. I was like, when you look around at what's going on around you,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, bro, this is so much content that nobody never sees
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
So many
Yes.
conversations. Like, how many times have you been over and we was like, man, we should have recorded
We should have
that
recorded
We should
this.
have recorded that.
Yep.
we should have recorded
Yep.
that joint.
Yep.
Bro, that happens about 10 times a week. And so I was like, man, I gotta find a way to do it. So I hit up Avery and I hit up John, which is he a DP for Avery on our sets. And I was like, yo, man, I need you to just come follow me. And bro, in the midst of me saying that, I kind of for some reason I got back on what was it Gary V joint. I can't remember which
Oh,
book it
yeah,
was.
yeah. The Crushing It.
And Crushing It, right? I get back on Crushing It and I'm listening in the car one day and he was just talking about putting out the content
Yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
I said, man, I got a 12. I'm about to do this mug on my phone. It's already
Right?
shooting 4K.
Come
I'm
on.
about to put this joint on my
Yeah.
phone. However
Yeah.
it look is, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna put out the content, right? And so, man, yeah, I started putting it together. Like even now, right now, bro, I probably got enough content in the last 10 days. I got enough content for like 5 months.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? In the
Wow.
last 10 days.
Wow.
And it made me realize, it's like, bro, I think about all the years I didn't put out that content that people could have been using. See, that's the thing. The thing is that people can use that content
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
I take advantage. Most people take advantage that have been doing things for a while that what they do is minuscule and it's not. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like people can use that and they can take off
Mm-hmm.
your information. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
right now for me, it's giving away value. You feel what I'm saying?
I
Like
love it.
the businesses does well. The sweatshop does well. Everything does well. So I'm like, look, it's not that I need money to come from a different source.
Right.
You know what I mean? To stay afloat. So I'm just gonna give away this value. And it's work giving away value. It ain't
Yes.
it ain't like it's not. It's work doing podcasts. It's
It
work
is work.
kind of giving back stories for podcasts. Exactly.
Yeah.
The backstory, the information. It's definitely work with this YouTube.
Yeah.
Like this other YouTube, I didn't get up the other day to Thursday until Thursday. I was like, oh Lord, I gotta get on the better schedule than this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
But I'm determined to give it. You know what I mean? God bless the entrepreneur. It's just not just Christian entrepreneurs. It's
Right.
entrepreneurs,
Yeah, it's for everybody.
period.
Absolutely.
And so for me, it's giving them my worldview as an entrepreneur.
I
You
love
know what
it.
I mean? So I work as unto the Lord. My grind is
That's
not
good.
just me grinding
Come
to
on.
prove a point.
Yeah.
If that was my case before, that's definitely not my case now. If
Mm.
you see me working, it's because I'm breathing. You see
Come
what I'm
on.
saying?
Come
Yes,
on
And it's
sir.
kind
now.
of like I don't know when I'm gonna stop breathing. So if that's the case, while I'm actually breathing, I'm gonna get it in.
Come
Like
on.
I'm a grind, you know.
That's right.
So and that's why the affirmation wall is so important because it's not just about grinding; it's everything. You know what I'm saying? Is family, spending time with my wife, spending time with other
Yes,
people, pouring into
balance.
other people. It's
Yes.
balance. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? You gotta have a balance in it.
You
So
do.
but I work, yeah, bro. I like, I'm about to be like, yeah, hey, man, you want to go out? Nah, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Like I'm about
Yeah.
to go to sleep so I can get up and I
And
got
grind
stuff.
Grind
again.
again.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had to
you know.
kind of get on Philip a little bit. I'm like, look, man, you got to take some time. And then his mentor turned around and told him, bro, you got to take a day, like you just poured into yourself, spend some time, with the Lord to refresh yourself.
Yeah.
He listened to his mentor.
That's how it usually goes. Nobody
But Henry,
wifey be like, you don't listen to
slow
me.
down. Yeah, you got to slow down. Well, Henry, you mentioned something that's really so very powerful. We do sometimes forget the intellectual property that we have until something goes bad.
Right.
And you got to transfer all of that knowledge over to somebody, right? So in thinking about that, what advice would you give to the new entrepreneur? What are just a couple of nuggets? Like, these are musts, your top 3 maybe.
I don't know, I don't know. I might mess up because you asked me like that, but I'll say it like this. I'll say it like this. When we're doing the Sweatshop University, I kind of get questions asked like that when I stop in. But again, I think the first one is building the system as you are going, right? If you're building the system as you are going, then also what it does, in my opinion, it gives you vision, right?
Right.
It says that one day I will not be doing this by myself, right? And so I got to start doing that. So for instance, if you're on the heat press and you're actually, you're printing, like, how long does it take to print those inside tags, right? And you time yourself and you write that down. And so you start creating these systems from the beginning. And then that way, when somebody step into that role, you can pass it on, because you always have to think about the things that are already established. If you was going to get a job at Chick-fil-A already have a system.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna bring you
not
in.
Break it either.
There you go. There you go. You got to either follow that or you won't even be there. You know what I'm saying? You have to, before you even get in the door, you have to have certain things in place to work for certain companies. But you got to think that you are that company. You're just in the infant stage. You know what I mean? So you got to think big and then back it up and then work towards that. You know what I mean? And so what people don't share with you is that a lot of the times we don't know what we're doing. I'm talking to Amy and Demetrius today, and it was like, we was talking about the room. We were showing Pastor Tom in the room, and we was like, yeah. And so Amy was like, yeah, so what you gonna talk about? I don't know. Like, I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? But that's usually how things start out. I don't have no idea. The fact that I believe that this is going to work is that this room exists. That you see the chairs, you see the innovative wall. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about. We'll figure out how we're going to
Come on, Noah, build the ark.
I don't know how we're going to get the people, but the commercial is done.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? Or the commercial got shot yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, once we got these things, now we'll figure out how we're actually going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
The thing is, most companies wouldn't be honest with you and say, hey, most of us don't know what we're doing. We just go in and figure it out.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of stuff, it takes figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? And you should have a plan. I think you should. You know what I'm saying? You should have a plan. 9 times out of 10, that plan is going to have so many bumps and bruises. That plan going to change to something else by the time you get to the end of it.
Right.
But you should have something to work towards all the time. It's just, it's just good. So again, I don't know if I answered that question how you wanted me to, but
yeah, and I think, Henry, you alluded to some things that keep so many people like trapped in the 9 to 5 because of fear. Like they think they have to have it all together. They think they have to be perfect. And there's a difference between perfection and excellence, and there's also a difference between sacrifice and obedience. And those two things are very similar.
Right.
And so, if God has called you to do something, his favor is on you. And yeah, you do need a plan, but you don't have to be perfect. And I think sometimes, I have a couple of books that I have never done anything with. And I think it's the fear of just like letting someone into that space sometimes. And just being afraid that it's not perfect enough. But you just need to step out there and figure it out.
Books written?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got listen. See, I envy that because I have these ideas for books. And that's the thing. See, this is the thing. And it shows that you don't always have it together, right? I have these ideas for books, and it's like hey, I don't even know how to start putting it together. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, I just need to get started. You got books that's finished. So the thing is now is actually putting it out. Whether they
Right.
do
Some
good or whether
action.
they do bad, you put that mug out, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn a couple of things. Even if you get one person who buy that book and they give you your feedback, that's going
Yep.
to help you go into your third book. And honestly, you saying that is going to make me get this book going because
Come on, Henry.
what you just said made me think about this, right? It was people when people ask me how did I transition out, what really what happened, I was making $250 a week when I left my job.
Mm.
200 I mean I'm sorry, $250 a month at Z180.
Wow.
And I was making over $50,000 at my job.
Wow.
And I had a daughter going to college, two
Yeah.
kids still in the house, and my wife. And at this time, my wife actually haven't worked for anybody in almost 11 years, 10 and a half
Mm-hmm.
years. But she actually, she actually was homeschooling our son at the time.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So
Wow.
we had a lot going on. It was a
Yeah.
lot. But I just was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this, man, I got to do it right now. And so that's kind of I want to write the book to that to say, hey, these are some of the things that you can start doing before you leave your job. But ultimately,
Come on.
you might not even see it when you have to jump out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like some people, they want that safe zone, and usually it doesn't work like that. Faith got me living risky. That's what I think is so powerful. Is
Mm.
because like it's going to cost you something, or it should cost you something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It should cost you something. And so yeah, it usually just don't work out where you making 50,000 at your job and then match up and then you step out. Where the risk at? Where's the
Right.
risk
Yeah.
in that?
It's
And it's
so
not
true.
saying that we should always be looking for risk, but if you're not even willing to risk it, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you really want it
It,
then.
it's so
So
true. It's so
Mm-hmm.
true because that comfort of the 9 to 5, it keeps you trapped for real because
yes,
we get comfortable with our discontentment, but it's paying the bills. But when you step out into what God has for you and you take that risk,
Yeah.
you just know that like it keeps you pushing and moving and
Yeah.
going. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I was made for.
Yeah. And
yes,
Henry, when I stop and I think about this, there is this thing that we're all searching for called purpose, right? Everybody, I don't care who you are, we all want to walk in our purpose. And the truth of the matter is the only place that we're going to find our purpose is in that place where there's things going on, right? Where there's what Pastor Tommy said today, where there's opportunity, there is opposition.
Where there's opposition, there's an opportunity.
Man.
So anytime you see something coming against you, you better know that there's an opportunity on the other side of that
That's
opposition.
That's
Yeah.
it, man.
yes,
That's it.
yes.
So we
I agree.
literally we got to push for that place of opposition because we know that in that's where the opportunity is. We can't be afraid of it. We just got to jump out there. You know what I'm saying? And go
Yes.
with it and trust that if God spoke it to you, He's going to also bring it to pass.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
man. And another thing I say is, don't do nothing solely for money.
Come on.
If you do, it's not going to be anything to push you when money is not there. And in
Mm-hmm.
business, money is not always there. It's just
Mm-hmm.
not. And so I remember I was excited when I first hit that 50,000 mark. That beat my salary. It was like,
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
Right.
I finally. And then you hit the 100,000 mark, and you just keep going.
Right.
And then money becomes just a tool at that point
Yes,
for
sir.
the vision. It's not even
Yeah,
about
it's a
money.
tool.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So and then I don't, and this is the thing, like I can get caught up in something, like I'm a gadget dude, right? I love gadgets. I would spend
Yes,
my
you are.
money on gadgets in a heartbeat. You know that, man. Like
Yes, you are.
we got
They were talking gadgets before we got on, so just
I
saying.
love gadgets. If I'm gonna spend my money, that's usually what it is. Like it's a full arcade in there, right? Like for real. And so, like, I'll spend my money on gadgets, but I won't spend my money on anything else. Like,
Right.
I tell people all the time, I literally own 2 pair of jeans, and I have for probably the last 5 years.
Right.
2 pair, bro. I got a ton of shoes, but I only use them at the compound. I don't really wear them. I wear the same things because, like, and it made me understand. I remember the first time I heard about Steve Jobs. I said, Steve
Come on.
Jobs crazy.
Yep.
That joker cool up. He don't do what? He wear what?
Yep.
Like now I understand. He was so focused on what he was doing that it wasn't even about
Didn't
getting
matter.
dressed for him.
That's
It
right.
didn't even matter at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like sometimes you might see me, but the fact that we have a clothing line, And you might be like, oh, that's a different tea. Oh, nah, bro. You might see me in the same tea. You might see me in it.
It's the
If you see me
same
3
one.
days in a row, you going to be questioning like,
Till the wheels fall off. I'm gonna wear it.
See,
till the wheels fall
hey,
off.
you gonna have some people looking now. They're gonna be like, oh,
He had that
okay,
on yesterday.
okay.
Yeah, bro. Listen,
one
I'm so
thing
glad we
that-
started selling joggers.
You know, one thing that keeps coming through, Henry, also, and you didn't mention this, but it just keeps coming through. There's a hunger inside of you to learn.
Yeah.
You know, and I think something that an entrepreneur has to be is hungry. Like you said, it's not about the money, but just about information, like feeding yourself.
Yeah.
You know, when you need to know something, get out there and find out. Find somebody who knows. Read a book. And I can say that about my husband as an entrepreneur. And even before that, like if he doesn't know, he's going to go find a YouTube video. He's going to call somebody. He's not scared to call anybody and ask anybody anything. But I keep hearing, you know, you're reading these books and you're just feeding yourself, reading and feeding yourself. And there's so much power in that. Like we got to stop being so prideful and think like, you know, you got it all. You do have it all in there, but there are things that other people have that's going to bring forth what you need.
Right.
I agree with you totally, Karen. And I'm glad you brought that up because I got to a place where my street knowledge, grind had ran out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
everything that I might have learned along the way, it ran out. I was dry. And I had to learn how to start listening to other entrepreneurs. And as I did that, I got hooked on the Audible because, man, if anybody from like when I went to school on here,
yeah,
they already know. You know what I'm saying? Well, if I have to, after 20 minutes, oh, it's over. It's over for me.
Right.
Like I can't watch nothing like, well, listen, 20 to 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So 20 to 30 minutes, I'm done. But when Audible came around, Audible helped me so much. You know what I mean? And so we do, actually, I might even do that next week where we give away about 10 Audibles or 10 3-month subscriptions to people who want it because the like there's a lot of people who learn like I do. Like I learned I can learn better by listening. You know what I mean? I'm not that dude who I can't do the classroom setting. That's not really built for me. Or if it is, it's only for a certain amount of time. So even the podcast is set up for that. The podcast is set up for 10 to 15 minutes. You're on your way to work. We're gonna drop jewels so that you can take with you, right? To kind of put the work. And so even when we start teaching these classes are going to be about 30 minutes. It is. I mean, the rest will be like Q&A, but the teaching part, you know, I have to approach it like how I am, not like how I'm not. You know what I mean? And so it'll be from a place to where, hey, this is 30 minutes worth of information. I want you to take this information and actually apply it and do something with it. And that's what these books come from. So I would even suggest, I remember I used to be like on what people used to say about reading however many books, CEOs read these many books a year. I'm gonna say this, right? And this is like speaking as of today. I'm saying get 3 good books for that year and listen to them over and over and over again. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just lately, well, it depends. You know, I get people hit me all the time about what books to read. But I'll tell you this, you know, you definitely want to read The Power of Broke by Damon John. You definitely want to read The Richest Man in Babylon. The reason why The Richest Man in Babylon, it's an older book, so it's kind of hard to grasp at first. But man, by the time you on that third time, the jewels in that joint that comes with finances is beyond anything, man. You know what I'm saying? When he started talking about the 5 rules of gold, I just put that up in our finance office. It's called the 5 rules of gold. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to talk about it here. Like, you're going to have to kind of peer into The Richest Man in Babylon. But that thing would, man, listen. One is this, bro. Never invest your money in something that you don't understand. Period. If you don't understand it, do not invest your money in it. And your money should always be making money. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's the part of sometimes where we got to back off from all the things we want and start thinking long term. It's because the long term joint is like, this is the thing. I'd rather spend 12 hours at the compound every day. I don't have to be to the house that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless, you know, like if my wife with me at the compound, we together. You know what I'm saying? If we want to do something outside of that, we can go out or we can jump on a plane or we can do that. But no, I don't have to put, and it's not knocking people who put money into their home or things of that nature, but I would rather be that person that does this, right? And everybody doesn't think like this. But like what I started realizing is, do I want to when it comes to certain things, do I want to finance it or do I just want to purchase it?
Mm.
Right.
Come on.
So, like I had a friend, he just bought a condo in Florida, but he brought it in cash. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather
Yes.
just stack and
Right.
buy that mug of cash.
Go get
That's
it.
Then
right.
only thing I'm
Pay
paying is
cash.
the insurance on it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's just a
Yes.
different mindset of thinking. And it's
Mm.
not that people have to think that way,
Right.
but I'm gonna talk that talk. If you come on the podcast, I'm gonna talk that talk
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it's a new way from what everything we've been told. You know what I'm
Yes.
Totally.
saying? Like,
Totally.
yeah,
Yes.
from everything that we've been told. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not that I'm even walking in all of it now, but it's where I'm going, it's
Come
where I'm
on.
headed.
Yep.
Yes.
So I'm gonna talk about where I'm heading at, right? So, I have what I want is I want a condo in Houston, condo in LA, condo in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and Charlotte, North Carolina, right? It's gonna happen, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, I know what I have to do here, where I have to concentrate my time on
I
for that
love
to
it.
happen.
That's so good.
So when I'm in those cities that I actually love, I love eating in those cities. I love
Yeah.
to eat, so I love eating in those cities. And I always, when I'm getting a hotel, what we spend on the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
might be like
Yeah.
$800 in
Yeah.
for 4 days,
Yeah.
depending on where you're
Yes.
staying at.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whereas like, okay, if I save about 60, 70 grand, I can find something over here, renovate that mug, and I own it. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And so, that's why the podcast is talking about finances and stewardship and all of it. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
just transparent. It's basically saying this is where I failed at, and this is where I'm good at. We just got to
That's
talking
good.
about business credit, how to build your business credit, and really to get to the point to where your business credit replace your personal finance when you ain't putting your social security on nothing.
Come on, man.
Everything is with your
Yes.
EIN number and DUNS number.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so those things can be done. And so those are things that we're speaking
That's
towards
so
and
good.
things of that nature, man.
So,
Yeah.
so you gave us 2 books. You gave us The Power of Broke, right? Damon John.
Mm-hmm.
You gave us The Power of Babylon, and you said there was 3.
Richest man in Babylon.
The Richest Man in Babylon,
Yeah.
excuse me. And then what's the third one? What was the
The
third one?
third one I'll say Grant Cardone, Sell or Be Sold.
Woo.
And
Woo.
boy,
Yeah,
that book, Lord
listen,
Jesus.
y'all.
That'll hurt.
I went to see Henry a couple weeks ago, and he told me about that book right there, that Sell or Be Sold. And I'm telling y'all right now, that book that book changed the way I even thought about things. Listen, Henry, I'm gonna tell him this little piece because I'm just being honest. I had trouble selling. And when I read in the book where Grant Cardone was talking, he said, "You're always selling." What you mean? You got a problem selling? You're always selling. You sell yourself. You sell your children. You sell your work. He's like, you're always selling. And then when he broke it down and said selling is really a construct of communication, bro.
You spoke to the communicator.
Sell or be sold.
He was on fire about that, Henry. So thank you for
Sell
sharing.
or be sold. And I'm gonna add one more book. Because it depends on what you're doing. So, like for instance, Dolly, who runs the sweatshop, she'll be on the Sell or Be Sold, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Anna would be on how to win and influence people because she handles all the customer service, social media for Unapologetic, and so it's a way that you deal with people. You know what I'm saying? It's a way that you deal with people consistently. And I even got to the point. I've opened up to the point to where now, some of our customers they text me directly, and because I'm getting to the point to where I thought I would always be able to be that hands-on person, but I can't. As the company grows, it's kind of impossible.
Right.
But if certain things happen, I'm hitting that customer directly.
Yes, sir.
The reason being that when I look at our data, I see people that buy from us 10 to 20 times. So we have lifetime customers. We don't just have these people usually who come by, they buy one time. No, these are lifetime customers.
Right.
So this is lifetime customers, bro. And I plan to leave a legacy. You know what I'm saying? And when I think about legacy, I think about a Conrad Hilton. I think about a Sam Walton. And when I start thinking in that, it's like almost the mindset of customer service, how I take care of these people is very important at this point. And it's the thing. If you know me, you know how I feel about my granddaughter Ari. You know how I love her.
Yes.
Yes.
But this is the truth. If she is not ready, if her mind is not there to deal with people and things of that nature, I can't give her anything. You know what I'm saying? Like she has to be willing to be able to take on that thing.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, and I understand too when people be passing down certain things, it's like, yeah, no, he can't get it till he ready. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's the same thing. No,
Right.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. And the Bible speaks on that a little bit. You know, like, you know, you working hard to give it, and then somebody just kind of tear it down and do what they want with it. No, we're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even when she's there, our talks, the things that we talk about,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's not just finances and things like that. It's about how you treat people, how you do good business and do it with integrity and things of that nature. And it's the thing, is you're gonna fail in those areas too. The thing is, you gotta always try to make it right. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I failed a lot when it came to, it's all about relationship.
That's
you
it.
know what I'm saying? You know, so like, how do you go back and make it right, even if you failed in that thing? You know what I'm saying? If you drop the ball, you got to be able to be like, yo, I dropped the ball. You know what I mean? So what happened with us last year, real quick, you know, what time we move into the building, I get hospitalized, and then I'm diagnosed wrong. We thinking it was something from, you know, the March hospitalization, and it wasn't. And then I get hospitalized as soon as we move in. Contractors tearing up everything, not in a bad way, but they're actually tearing up the floor, you know, putting down new carpet, things of that nature. I get hospitalized in the middle of that, right? And then I go back right after Thanksgiving. It's like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is a lot going on. But you know what it taught me, man? It taught me that I learned from a previous one that I need to start teaching everybody around me what I do and what's in my mind.
Intellectual
and it
property
made it
transfer.
There you go. And it made it more reality for me. It's like, okay, I want to teach. Man, we're crazy. When I went into the hospital though, everything ran smooth.
That's
this
awesome,
time.
Henry.
It's because the people around me knew what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? They just stepped in their role. My wife just stepped in the role. You know what I'm saying? Mom, just everybody stepped in their role and did it flawlessly. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Now we did lose out when because of everything that was going on with COVID, that we were, you know, distributors and things, and that it was insane. USPS was insane. Still now USPS, I think we're going to switch, but that's another whole conversation. But anyway, it was all these things going on with that. So one of the main things that happened with us is that when we were moving out and everything was packed up, it was supposed to be a smooth transition. Took 2 weeks, bro. Took 2 weeks.
Wow.
So say for instance, people who ordered during that time, their joints were stacked up for 2 weeks before we even got in the building.
Wow.
So you already know what it is to unpack a building.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to
have
unpack
all
a
that.
building, set computers.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff we had to make right. So when we even brought Anna in, it's like she's going back into them old emails, and we're winning back our clientele.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're not saying, hey, look, we dropped the ball. We ain't about to tell y'all everything that went on, but we dropped the ball and we want to make it right. You know, here is $30 off your next purchase. Yeah, I don't care what it was to win it back, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
$50 off. You know what I'm saying? So but you know.
Especially when you have lifelong customers, and this is a reason why you have lifelong customers.
You have no
man.
business without a customer.
That's it.
And
yes.
You know.
So look, I'm gonna say this just real quick. We got a couple people who chimed in. Sterling Porter, he said, Henry was one of the people I spoke to before I stepped out as an entrepreneur. Will always appreciate him for that, man.
And I think he got a Best of Gwinnett, maybe, for accounting. So
Best of Gwinnett.
Listen,
if you're in that area, you know, you need to check out the Porters. For real.
Yeah, that's my dude. And I'm gonna tell you too, Sterling, you messed me up with something, bro. Sterling took me to he was one of the first people who took me courtside, bro. He had them courtside tickets, messed me up. I didn't want to go to Atlanta Hawks game regular again.
Yeah.
Never again.
Bro, listen, when you get on that courtside,
it's
you know
different.
What I'm saying? And you dapping up people like Dominique and you and as they going by. And then you got to go back in them seats. Oh, it ain't the same, bro.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's totally different.
When he told me he got his hair cut at the barbershop at the Falcons.
Yeah.
That messed me up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you go get your hair cut while the game's
that's
going
my
on.
Sterling is my dude, man.
That's a
good
people.
They're good people.
Good people.
Yes.
Well, listen, I'm gonna say this, Henry. As we get ready to get off here, man, I really, first and foremost, I appreciate you
so
just
much.
coming on, man, and just really pouring into us and pouring into the people. I mean, this is what you do, man.
Yeah.
That's why I love coming to the compound and just sitting with my notebook, man, because I know what's going to happen, what's going to go down, man. So I really appreciate you.
I appreciate that, man.
Seriously, man. Seriously, it's love. It's love. But I just want you to do this just real quick, man. If you could just speak to the people, man, just real quick, and just encourage the people, man. I know there's some people who are watching us who are entrepreneurs right now. I know some people right now who are contemplating this entrepreneurial journey and stepping out, man. Can you just encourage the people and just give them a quick word of encouragement, a quick boost or something like that?
Yeah, man, I would say this, man. Um, Whatever it is that God has put on your heart to do, that you just need to do it. One thing I had to realize: if God is with me, if I really believe that God is with me, then I have to do my part. His part is that he's with me. He's right beside me, right? Which means that all I need to do now is begin to step out. As I begin to step out, then I know he's going to be there in some type of capacity, whether it's financially, whether putting people in place for me to get to where I need to be. You know what I mean? So like some of the tools that even we talked about tonight, listening to other entrepreneurs, right? The thing is, do not take that information and not do nothing with it. Take that information and actually step out, actually try it. You might have to tweak it because all of it might not be you. Like Grant Cardone doesn't have the same worldview as I do as a Christian. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't. But those things that he has, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not hearing that in the Christian community. I'm hearing that in the business world. So I take my worldviews, I put that together, and I actually step out. If I make a mistake, if I drop the ball, it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? I just keep going. I don't let fear stop me. Do not let fear stop you. Fear will paralyze you. And I used to be one of them guys who was like, "Oh man, they scared to do that." No, I recently, the last couple of months, I got to this place where I just had got fearful for a minute, and I realized how much it paralyzed me. Now, it wasn't long; it was about a week and a half, but that mug had me paralyzed, and it made me be empathetic to people. That people do get to this point where they don't know how to get started, where they feel like fear has paralyzed them. But look, move that fear out the way. It's an illusion. Actually, just step out and start doing it. And as you start doing it, man, you're gonna see God begin to show up. You know what I mean? Especially if you put that thing in your heart. And you know what I'm talking about. It's that when you go to work and you like, what am I doing here? Then yes, you are that person that needs to be stepping out. If you're already in it, you just keep going. Never stop. You just keep going. And one thing, me and Amy was talking today about, you get to this place sometimes, right? Where you've been grinding for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been about 10 years for me, but you get to this place, right? To where it just, you feel what I'm saying? But even then, you're going to have your challenges like you do when you're just getting started. So
Right.
you just get started and appreciate the journey, love the journey,
Yes.
get involved in doing something every single day towards it. If you work, then you need to when you get home, and if you got kids, you take care of that. You got to spend an extra 4 hours when everybody sleep starting on this thing. You can't give no excuses. And the reason why I say in that video, this is the mantra: make moves or make excuses, because you're really gonna do one or the other. So you gotta do it.
Truth.
You feel what I'm saying? At the end of the day, do you want to be that person and be like, yeah, all I did was say why I couldn't do something? Are you going to be that person that does? And if you got people in your life who are like naysayers, people who speak down, move them out of your life, because you got to have people around you who's on the same path where you are trying
Yes.
to go. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yes.
So yes, man.
I look. Hey, listen. I ain't gonna lie to you, Henry. You go check out the Edge Energy shot that I'm gonna post after this. It's gonna talk about make moves or make excuses. I'm just letting you know right now. I'm gonna give you credit. I'm gonna give you credit this time.
First time.
I'm gonna give you credit this time. I'm gonna give you credit this time. I promise that. I
Thank you,
promise
brother.
that. Well, listen, y'all. Thank you so much, Henry.
Yes.
Man, we really appreciate you just coming on, spending some time with our Edge family, man, as we're trying to go out and help people, man, by developing them, equipping them, and empowering them to be the best version of themselves, man. Henry, real quick, how can people find you? How can people find your company?
So a couple of ways. God bless the entrepreneur.com, unapologetic merch.com, or uugatl.com, the sweatshopatl.com.
Awesome.
Instagram, God Bless the Entrepreneur. And under my God Bless the Entrepreneur, you will find all of my companies there. and Henry C. Murphy on YouTube. You can listen to the podcast there. I have like 10 uploaded right now, and then we're on the first 2 episodes of A Day in the Life of an Entrepreneur with Henry C. Murphy.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yes.
Well, once again, Henry, we do want to thank you so much for
so
joining
much.
us tonight. And we
I
want to
appreciate you
encourage
guys,
we want to
man.
encourage everybody to literally go follow Henry C. Murphy. Go check out Unapologetic. Go check out God Bless the Entrepreneur. I will give you a little sneak. Go check out the YouTube page, because he just did his thing on the little motorcycle thing in the y'all, it'd be funny too. It'd be funny too.
God.
So make sure y'all go check him out. All kind of entrepreneurial gems. This is one of the people that I look up to and call a mentor to me, and has helped me and my wife and our company grow and flourish. And I truly believe he can do the same thing for you. So, so with that being said,
Appreciate it, man.
hey, Henry, look, you know what? We'll be here next week, same time, same channel.
time.
It's the Edge Life, man. It's what we do,
Life.
y'all. Well, holla.
Edge life, you're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head, baby. Welcome to the edge life. You're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head. Welcome to the edge life.